Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Gwei Refuel, where I recap the latest news in the Ethereum ecosystem. I'm your host, Anthony Sassano, and today's the 8th of April 2021. Alright everyone, a lot to cover, as you can see from all my tabs open here. First, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Jake Chervinsky, who is the General Counsel at Compound Finance. He has created a new newsletter, which will kind of be covering all of the legal, regulatory, and policy developments within crypto. Jake is my favorite, I guess, crypto lawyer, you could say, by far. He's always very measured in his analysis on different things. He's been putting out great content on Twitter for a while now, and I'm really excited that he has a newsletter. So if you're interested in following along with kind of the regulatory side of stuff, definitely go subscribe to his newsletter. If you haven't yet, you may have already seen it. And his first piece is basically a review of Q1, which, I read through it earlier today, and I really enjoyed it. So definitely highly recommend going and checking that one out there. So the Berlin hard fork is actually only a week away, which is crazy because that really snuck up on me. I thought to myself, wow, a week away? That means it's April 14th soon? And then I kind of saw, oh yeah, it is. And I think it's going to happen on April 15th actually here. And stuff like that, because it's always hard to give an exact date because it's based on block times, or a specific block, mind you. So if you do have if you are running an Ethereum full node, which I hope a lot of you are, definitely upgrade it to Berlin if you haven't yet. 60% of the network is already ready, which is really great to see. But there is still a bunch missing. I mean, you can see in this kind of screenshot here, there's about 33% of Geth clients missing, and 28% of Open Ethereum clients kind of missing. So yeah, if you run those or any of the other ones, just make sure they're up to date. All the clients are out and ready, and you can go upgrade them now. So DiversiFi is offering $20 in USDT for anyone who makes their first deposit to app.diversify.com. This is basically to make up for the gas fee that you'll pay having to deposit from Ethereum layer 1 to DiversiFi's layer 2. And we've been seeing this kind of play out lately, not just with the, layer 2 space, but in general, there's a lot of, rebates, you could call them, or cashbacks being given out by protocols right now. I know Balance is doing it where they give BAL tokens to people to make up for the gas fees and stuff like that. I think there's a couple of other teams doing this, and I think it's quite smart, right? The tokens come out of the protocol treasury, and these treasuries are huge. So I mean, it's not totally scalable, right? I don't think it can be done for every single trade sort of thing, but it can be done in such a way that just helps the kind of little guys, right? Helps the people that, aren't trading very much, maybe a few $100, and a $50 transaction fee to trade is going to eat into that basically a lot. So, getting a token in return is always good there. So yeah, really, really cool to see this. I think in particular, the fact that it applies to kind of layer 2s here is really important. Because of the fact that, we all want people to onboard onto layer 2, but they still have to kind of spend a gas fee on layer 1 to get onto these layer 2s, at least until there's more infrastructure built out, like exchange bridges and things like that. So it's just really great to see that DiversiFi is kind of, leading the charge here. I'm not sure if Loopring has already done this in the past, but, I'm sure that these other layer 2s will follow suit as well here. So yeah, really, really cool to see that from DiversiFi. So Alan on Twitter here basically has this spreadsheet that I think I've covered before on the refuel, but he updated it today, and it basically compares all types of different NFT marketplaces and has a bunch of different things that it compares, do they accept credit or debit cards? How is the content stored? Is it centralized, or is it on IPFS or Arweave? What are the kind of fees associated with the platforms? What networks are they on? All that sort of stuff. So I think this is really, really cool and very comprehensive and very detailed. There's actually a doc you can go to here. I'll link it in the YouTube description, of course, that kind of has all this. But, it's fun to see that most of the platforms are actually using IPFS right now. Really great to see that. And there's only 3 that are kind of, centralized, and 1 that is, a hybrid between IPFS and centralized here. But if we kind of look and see what is the best across the board, Mintbase looks pretty good. I'm just eyeing it right now. And kind of if we kind of look, Mintable and Cargo, in terms of the worst offenders here, I think something Super Rare, unfortunately, they do have their content on IPFS, but there's a lot of no's in the kind of row there. Same with like kind of foundation here. So yeah, I hope to see like a lot of these maybe go to all green, sooner rather than later. But I do realize that a lot of these platforms are early stage, right? Things like credit debit card integration requires going through kind of, I guess, like the old regulatory traditional finance system. So that's a bit more difficult there. So I totally understand that for some of these platforms. In terms of like putting storing the content of the NFTs onto IPFS or Arweave, that should be done like regardless. I don't think that at this point in time there's an excuse for having centralized kind of things here. And as I said, it's great to see most of the platforms are utilizing these kind of decentralized networks right now. And then there's fees as well. There's like initial sale fees. You can see like they're pretty high on the curated platforms like Super Rare and Maker's Place. It's at 15%, but on like the open marketplaces, it's between 2 and 2.5%. Zora is 0% right now. I do not expect that to last. That's not just sustainable as a business model sort of thing. And you can see here that just only 3 of these platforms have a token right now. But you can expect pretty much like all of these platforms to eventually have a token, I think, in one way or another. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If something doesn't have a token right now, there's a high chance it will have a token at some point in the future. So yeah, good to consider that. But great spreadsheet from Alan here. You can go check it out. I'll link it in the YouTube description below. So I spoke about Gods Unchained launching on Immutable X yesterday, and I was saying, I'm expecting it to launch imminently, and it launched today in its like very earliest stages. It's basically launched as kind of an alpha stage, but it's live. So if you have Gods Unchained cards from the Trial of the Gods card pack, so not the Genesis cards, the kind of like Trial of the Gods expansion pack, then you're able to trade them at market.x.immutable.com right now, as long as you linked your wallet to the Immutable X platform before April 6th. So there's a few caveats there, but the platform is live. As I said, it's built on StarkEx technology. It's gas free. It scales up to 9,000 transactions per second right now. And this is just like a massive improvement. And I've been seeing comments, I've been following it along the Discord, things like that. I've been seeing comments from various people around their experience, and they're saying, it's just amazing to be able to do this in a gas-free way. And, because Immutable X is a true layer 2, it inherits Ethereum security. So that is just like absolutely massive. StarkEx is doing very well right now. I mean, they had the public launch of the dYdX L2 exchange yesterday. They have DiversiFi. They announced their Caspian kind of like hybrid, L2, L1 AMM design the other day. They have StarkNet version 3 coming. They have so many things coming right now. It's just absolutely crazy, and they don't really make much noise about it either. They're kind of a quiet team. They don't do too much marketing. I think the marketing comes from the projects actually using their technology, which I think is really, really cool. So yeah, anyway, if you linked your wallet here before April 6th and you have some Trial of the Gods cards, definitely go check this out. It applies to you. You'll be able to experience what it's like to basically trade NFTs on a layer 2 platform on Ethereum. And you'll see, what I've been ranting and raving about for months now, about how layer 2s are really going to solve a lot of the problems of kind of layer 1. Not just gas fees, but in terms of user experience as well. Because obviously, it's kind of hard to estimate gas sometimes, which 1559 is going to kind of like address a lot of it as well. But also the block times are longer, 15 seconds on these kind of platforms. It's basically instant on these layer 2 platforms. So yeah, definitely go check this out if you haven't yet. So Slingshot, the decentralized exchange aggregator, has completed what they call a liquidity expansion. So they've basically, or a liquidity zone expansion, they've basically deployed to Polygon here, and it is live for the first 500 beta users. Obviously, this enables very lightning fast trades, very, cheap transaction fees here, and they've added 100 plus new tokens as well. So you can sign up for access at slingshot.finance to the beta here. And as I kind of just explained yesterday with the kind of Aave, deploying to Polygon. I've said it before, how Polygon, I actually got into a debate with someone about this today about what's a layer 2, what's a side chain, what are the hybrids? It actually goes so deep when you kind of look at it and think about it. There's so many, little things you have to account for. But from kind of what I've seen, Polygon isn't what people would consider a true L2, but I think the lines are kind of being blurred now between these things because Polygon does commit itself to Ethereum, and it inherits some of Ethereum's security properties and things like that. So there's just trade-offs at the end of the day. I do want to do a more comprehensive video on this in the future, but it's kind of hard right now because of the fact that these things are changing all the time. Like, I'm asking different people what the what they think about different kind of scaling solutions, and I'm getting different answers. So I mean, I would consider, I mean, a true L2, I guess, like, inherits all of Ethereum security properties, right? It cannot exist without, I guess, like, the Ethereum main chain. It cannot be secured without it. Whereas Polygon obviously has its own validator set. It, for all intents and purposes, it is its own separate blockchain, but it does commit itself to Ethereum for that enhanced security there. So yeah, I think, just, I guess, like, that's very important to keep in mind. As I said, I want to do more, kind of like more of a video on this in the future, and kind of like talk more about this, but still very good to see Slingshot kind of, I guess, expand here. I think they're going to expand just like every other app. I think they're all just going to expand to every EVM compatible chain. You're going to see them on layer 2s like StarkEx technology. You're going to see them on Optimism and Arbitrum eventually as well, and all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how the, I guess, scalability landscape plays out over the next few months in the Ethereum ecosystem, because there's definitely not just going to be one winner. And I've said this many, many times, so I won't harp on about it too much today. But yeah, definitely not going to be just one winner. And I do really think that the bridges are going to be the big winners here, like Connext, the trustless kind of bridges, and Hot Protocol and things like that, which I've also said in the past, of course. But yeah, really great to see this. Go sign up if you want beta access to Slingshot on Polygon here. So Yuri from Starkware, co-founder and CEO at Starkware, basically put out this tweet that in the less than 24 hours since dYdX the dYdX L2 exchange went live to public mainnet, they did more than $10 million in trading volume, and this is just the first 24 hours, which is insane. That's awesome. Already $10 million in the first 24 hours, and I'm expecting this to just absolutely explode, because perpetual products are very, very popular, but they're very popular for I guess, like, a variety of reasons, and they require kind of order booked based exchanges to work properly, and that obviously wasn't possible on Ethereum layer 1 because of the scalability and gas issues. Now, with kind of like Yuri here, saying that there's been $10 million done already in trading volume in the first 24 hours is absolutely massive. I think this is going to get even bigger, much faster than people anticipate. I reckon we could see $100 million in trading volume sooner rather than later, because, as I said, this is on L2, gas-free, kind of instant. I've played around with it. It's so smooth. The kind of like, I guess, like, experience is so good, and it's blown me away, honestly. So yeah, I'm really excited to see this evolve further. And as I've said in the past, layer 2 is here. It's just not evenly distributed yet. And what I meant by that is that we have a lot of these kind of like apps going live, and going live in kind of alpha versions. It's not really evenly distributed to everyone, where it's not like public, right? We have like Optimism with their private mainnet and things like that. But as soon as it goes public, as soon as it hits public mainnet, the demand to use these platforms is extreme. They're like, pretty much it applies to everyone in the ecosystem, even the whales, right, that can pay the gas fees. They would rather just be on layer 2 and not have to pay the gas fees. Like, why would you kind of be like, oh, I'm not going to go to layer 2 just because I want to pay the gas fees on layer 1. Even though they may not care about them as much as the smaller players do, they're definitely going to go to layer 2 as well. And not just the gas fees, but the speed improvements too. I mean, and the experiences that just can't work on layer 1. As I said, order book exchanges have not worked on layer 1 because of the scalability issues. And that means no matter how much money you have, and no matter how much you don't care about the gas fees, you're not going to get a great perpetual exchange experience on layer 1 Ethereum. You will get that on layer 2 with dYdX. And this is, I guess, goes back to a piece I wrote the other day about unconstrained innovation, where layer 2 is going to unlock all of this innovation and all of these use cases that layer 1 just can't do, and it's going to inherit the security of layer 1, which is just, I think, the best way to go about it. So yeah, really excited to see all of this growth from, I guess, dYdX in just the kind of first 24 hours of them being public here. So speaking of a layer 2, the block has a new, I guess like a bunch of different dashboards actually on their kind of website here. They have a data section, which is really cool. I actually use it a lot when I cover things in the Daily Gwei data pump. And I know I'm late on this month's or last month's episode of that. That's going to be out this weekend, so definitely keep an eye out for that. But basically what this dashboard shows you is that the TVL in different Ethereum layer 2 solutions. So you can see the TVL here for Plasma, ZK rollups, Optimistic rollups, and Validium. Validium is a type of ZK rollup here, but it is distinctly separate. But yeah, you can kind of see the growth has been pretty massive in just like February and March. And as I said, a lot of this stuff is still in kind of like alpha phases, right? It has not been public. dYdX only went public like a couple days ago. There's a bunch of other things that are not public yet, like Optimism, obviously, as I just said. So it's great to see that we're already up to like almost $1 billion in TVL here just for that. And you can see value locked in the different bridges as well, which I mean, I wouldn't consider like a layer 2 kind of solution. Like the bridges are distinctly different. So I mean, maybe that's not the best place to put this dashboard, but you can see here, obviously, the bridge into BSC has a lot of value locked, and there's XDAI, Avalanche, and Nia, and stuff like that. And then down here, you have value locked of Ethereum optimistic rollups. Now, the majority of this value is in Optimism, and the majority of that value is just synthetics right now. Pretty much all of it is just synthetics, because that's the only app live on Optimism right now. And then you have Fuel, which is another optimistic rollup kind of solution that kind of like doesn't have much here. But yeah, I expect this to kind of like explode in growth over the next few months as Optimism goes live to public mainnet and Arbitrum comes online as well here. And then finally, you have value locked of Ethereum ZK rollup. So Loop Ring's obviously dominating here. ZK Sync is kind of like steady state here, which is really cool. As I said before, ZK Sync is like a payments network, so I wouldn't expect value to stay there forever. People like to, I guess, get out and kind of cash out the fiat and stuff like that, especially because of a lot of the ZK Sync activity is from Gitcoin, and a lot of people who get their Gitcoin donations just cash it out to fiat. I mean, I do that, like for tax reasons specifically. I had to kind of withdraw and cash it out to fiat there. And then Aztec and Hermes are much newer, so you can't really see them on the chart here, but I do expect them to grow over time as well. So go check out this dashboard if you want a deeper dive. There's other kind of like dashboards on there as well. I'll link this in the YouTube description for you to go check out, of course. Right, so the last bit on scaling here, and this isn't layer 2 scaling actually, this is basically layer 1 scaling. Vitalik put out a fresh post called "Why Sharding is Great, Demystifying the Technical Properties." Now, this is a very technical post, but there is a high-level kind of description of everything that Vitalik gives before diving into the technicals. So I would say that half of it is very technical, the other half is high-level. So if you want to dive in and understand more about sharding, I would still kind of highly recommend going and reading this. It doesn't matter if you don't understand most of it. I think the main takeaway from this is that sharding is hard, but it is worth it. If we can successfully scale Ethereum via sharding, which it looks like we will be able to, and then just use the shards for layer 2 to give layer 2 more scalability, then we will have created an extremely secure, scalable layer 1 while also creating an extremely secure and scalable layer 2 ecosystem too. So yeah, I definitely go recommend checking this out, because this is obviously the main way that Ethereum is scaling on layer 1. And Vitalik goes through this thing called the scalability trilemma again, gives a kind of refresher here, which basically says you can only pick one of these two: scalable, decentralized, one of these three, sorry, scalable, decentralized, or secure. And solving this trilemma, if you can get all three, is the holy grail. And that's what sharding tries to do with Ethereum's kind of, I guess, like proof of stake consensus. It tries to be decentralized, scalable, and secure all at once. Now, currently decentralized and secure are like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they are not scalable as layer 1s, right? Then you have like Hype TPS Change, which are scalable and secure, but they're not decentralized, right? Because of the fact that they basically sacrifice decentralization to achieve this kind of scalability. And Vitalik defines it here. I'm not going to read this all out. I mean, I guess definitely go check out this blog post. I highly recommend it. It was very informative when I read it. I had to read it a couple times because obviously being, on the technical side of things, it takes a bit of time to kind of, grasp some of these concepts here, but definitely still worth a read, even if you're not very technical. So the Index Co-op launched another big index product today called the Metaverse Index. Now what this does is it basically lets you invest in an index product that covers 15 different tokens within the metaverse. Now, what is the metaverse? The metaverse covers basically covers the kind of like NFT space in the gaming space. So think of like Axie Infinity and Gods Unchained, all that sort of stuff, right? Those are the kind of like, and there's like a bunch of others in here. I mean, if I actually go to the kind of blog post here, you'll be able to see which tokens are included here. There's heaps in here. There's like the NFT platform tokens like Rari, like Meme. There are so even kind of like a hybrid social NFT tokens like Whale. There's Mana of Decentraland. There's Sand. There's Audio, which is RDS, the decentralized kind of, I guess, audio streaming platform. Engine, of course. I mean, as I said, 15 different tokens in here, all tied to the metaverse, which I think this is, I mean, I think I've seen other products like this, but this is the first very compelling product that's come to market here. I mean, I'm biased because I obviously am advised at a set, which kind of like has a heavy involvement in Index Co-op, but I think this is just really, really cool. And this is managed actually by community members. It is not managed by set or anything like that. It's managed by 2 community members. I can't remember where it was listed, but I know one of them is named Dark Forest Capital, and there's another one in there as well. I've forgotten the name now. Sorry to that person for that. But essentially, I just thought this was a really cool launch, and you can basically go buy this now on the Token Sets website here. I won't show you too much on this, but essentially you can go here. You can check out kind of like the Metaverse Index, its performance and everything like that. The market cap's already at 1.7 mil, which is cool to see. There is a streaming fee, 0.9%, which is basically a management fee that you'll pay. But I think, you know, these fees are like negligible in the crypto space because these things can go up like a lot, right, over time. They can go up like 100%, 200%, 300% in a year. And, you know, that means that kind of like streaming fee is negligible. Now, of course, these things can go down as well. There's no guarantee it's going to go up. But yeah, obviously, like, just the disclaimer there. But really, really cool to see this. I would recommend going and clicking on the thread that'll be linked in the YouTube description to watch this video. I thought it was just like a really cool hype video. And congrats to the Index Coop for getting this out. I know they've been working on this for quite a while now. So Sam McPherson, who's a Maker DAO community member, posted that basically the Aave team has proposed something called the Direct Deposit Dai Module, or D3M for short, which is basically a way to closely join the Maker and Aave protocols. Now, what this would allow for is the Maker protocol to basically mint DAI directly into the Aave DAI market, which is just super cool, right? I mean, this means that, like, this is more of this kind of, like, I guess, protocol to protocol, I guess you could call it, like, partnerships going on. You know, we've seen it with the Iron Bank. We've seen Yearn with their partner program, where they basically give, like, essentially referral fees to people that are bringing TVL in. And now we're seeing it between Maker and Aave, where Maker can essentially directly mint DAI into Aave markets that people can borrow, and kind of that just generates more, I guess, like revenue for both platforms, which is really, really cool to see. So yeah, this is, I mean, there's a kind of a good description here where basically this person says, the D3M allows Maker to expand the DAI supply by incorporating Aave's collateral liquidations in place of CDPs, in effect, and allows Maker to earn Aave interest. Makes sense to me, though. I remember discussing something similar in the summer with CDAI. That's, you know, a pretty good, I guess, like explanation there of what this essentially does. It basically means that Aave is the borrower, right? Like, just like you would be able to create like a CDP or a vault yourself as an individual, so too will Aave, and they will pay the kind of stability fees here. I guess, like, and allows Maker to earn the Aave interest as well. So yeah, really, really cool new thing out of Maker and Aave here. I'm excited to see it be implemented. Sorry, for now it's just a proposal, it's just a discussion, but I don't see any pushback on this. I think this is great for both protocols. So yeah, just more, I guess, protocol to protocol kind of participation here, which I think, and I remember saying a few months ago that we'd be seeing a lot more of this, because it basically unlocks a lot of this capital that's locked within these systems, which I think is just positive for the overall ecosystem. So Jason Carver from the Ethereum Foundation put out Carver, from the Ethereum Foundation put out this blog post basically saying that they're working on a way to sync the Ethereum mainnet in 80 seconds. So using something called meta witnesses. Now, I'm not going to go through exactly what that is because I'm not going to do a very good job of explaining that. But you can basically go into here and read this blog post here, and you can also see the video demo of how they do it. I mean, anything that improves the syncing process for an Ethereum kind of like client or Ethereum full node is extremely good in my book. I mean, we've had kind of initiatives like TurboGeth, which got the sync time down for Ethereum oh God, I've lost the word here. There's full nodes and then there's archive nodes. That's right. So Ethereum archive node sync times down dramatically with Go Ethereum, and it's also acts as a full node as well. So we're seeing a ton of kind of things playing out here, right? Where I guess when you kind of look at this, there's a lot of improvements coming to the Ethereum kind of layer 1 ecosystem through the kind of, I guess, protocol developments of all these different teams. So yeah, really, really positive to see that. And I'm kind of curious to see this in the wild, if this kind of gets put into, clients. I know that this is basically coming out of the Trinity team. So maybe this gets merged with different Ethereum clients like Geth and Open Ethereum. So really looking forward to seeing how that plays out there. So the last thing here I wanted to talk about today was Lightclients posted that they are working closely with the EF to audit EIP 3704. Now, I've spoken about 3074 before on the refill, but the TLDR is that it basically what this EIP does is it greatly improves the user experience by, as I understand it, getting rid of the approve transaction. You know, when you go to a new DeFi app and you have to like approve a kind of like transaction and approve a token and then do a transaction. What this would do is it basically bundles it together. So you do an approve and a swap at once. So imagine going to Uniswap and trading a new token, and instead of having to basically approve the token for trading, wait for that transaction to finish, and then do the trade, you can do both of those things in one transaction. So yeah, really, really cool UX improvement here. And I've heard some rumors that this might make it into London. So the upgrade going live in July for EIP 1559 included in that. And if it did, that'd be really, really cool, because after London, we're going to be prioritizing the merge. So if it doesn't go into London, it will not go into, I guess, like the Ethereum mainnet for quite a while. So I'm hoping to see if this kind of plays out kind of as we want to, and see, I guess, like how quickly the researchers and developers can kind of work to get this audited, to make sure it's safe, and to get this implemented. All right, that's it for today, everyone. Thank you again for listening and watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the newsletter, join the Discord channel, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.